everyone, and welcome back to Learn English Hub. We are so happy to have you here with us today for another podcast. I am Emma, and as always, I am here with my good friend Daniel.
Hello, friends. It is so great to talk to you all today. I am very excited about our lesson today because it is very useful for everyday conversations.
That is absolutely right, Daniel. Today, we are going to talk about 3 very important English words. We will learn how to use the words will, shall, and would.
These 3 words can be a little confusing for absolute beginners, but please do not worry, because we will explain everything very slowly and clearly. We will give you many simple examples to help you understand them perfectly.
Yes, we are always here to support you every step of the way. Learning English takes time, but you are doing a wonderful job just by listening to us today. Let us start with our first word, which is will.
The word will is a very common word we use to talk about the future. We use it when we decide to do something right now, at this exact moment.
That is exactly right. Imagine you are sitting in a nice restaurant and you are looking at the food menu. You suddenly decide what to eat, so you tell the waiter, "I will have the chicken."
That is a perfect and clear example, Emma. You did not plan to eat the chicken yesterday or earlier today. You made the decision just now, while sitting in the restaurant.
We also use the word will when we promise to do something for someone else. For example, I can look at you and tell you, "Daniel, I will help you with your English homework later."
Thank you so much, Emma. I really do need some extra help with my homework tonight. Another very good example of a promise is saying to a friend, "I will call you tomorrow."
Yes, that is a very common sentence. People say, "I will call you tomorrow," all the time in their daily lives. We also use will to make predictions or guess what will happen in the future.
For example, you can look out the window at the dark clouds in the sky. Then you can say to your family, "I think it will rain later today."
That is a great prediction about the weather. Or you can say to a student, "I am sure you will pass your English test." That is a nice, positive prediction for all our listeners out there.
I absolutely love that positive energy. Our listeners are studying hard, so I am very sure they will speak excellent English very soon.
Now, let us talk about the negative form of the word will. When we want to say no about a future event, we use the words will not.
Native speakers use this short form all the time. But in normal, everyday conversation, we usually use the short form. The short form of will not is the word won't.
That is exactly right. So instead of saying, "I will not go to the party," we simply say, "I won't go to the party." It sounds much more natural and relaxed.
Let us give our friends one more example using the word won't. You can say, "She won't eat her vegetables because she does not like them." This means she refuses to eat them.
That is a perfect example. So remember that will is for quick decisions, friendly promises, and future predictions. Now, let us move on to our second important word, which is shall.
Let us look at the word shall. It is actually quite formal, and it is mainly used in British English. We usually use shall only with the pronouns I and we.
Yes, shall is not very common in everyday American English conversations. However, it is still a very important word to understand.
The most common way to use shall is when we make a polite suggestion or a kind offer. For example, if the room is too hot, I might say, "Shall I open the window?"
That is a very polite and helpful offer. You are asking if I want you to open the window for me. Another common suggestion is asking a friend, "Shall we go for a walk?"
You are exactly right. "Shall we go for a walk?" is a very polite and sweet way to say, "Let's go for a walk." It sounds very gentle, friendly, and respectful.
You might also hear shall in classic movies or read it in older storybooks. But in real life today, especially in America, people usually just say, "Should we go for a walk?"
That is a great point, Emma. Should is much more common than shall in modern spoken English. But if you ever visit London, you might hear shall spoken much more often.
Let us think of another simple example for the word shall. Imagine we are trying to decide on a fun movie to watch tonight. I can ask you, "What shall we watch tonight?"
And I could happily answer, let us watch a funny comedy. So, shall is just a nice, polite way to ask for ideas or offer some help to someone.
It is very easy to understand when you think about it that way. Just remember, use it for polite suggestions with I or we. Now, let us talk about the third word, would.
The word would is a very interesting word, and we use it a lot in the English language. The most important use for beginners is making polite and kind requests.
Yes, politeness is so very important in English culture. When you want something, you should not say, "I want coffee." That sounds a little bit rude and too direct.
Instead, you should always try to say, I would like a coffee, please. Would like is simply the polite and friendly version of the word want.
I personally use the phrase "would like" every single day. If I am at a clothing store, I might politely say, "I would like to buy this blue shirt, please."
It instantly makes your spoken English sound much better and much more respectful to the listener. You can also use would to ask other people what they want.
For example, if you come to visit my house, I will ask you, "Would you like some hot tea?" Or I could ask, "Would you like a fresh glass of water?"
And I would probably answer you by saying, yes, please, I would love some hot tea. Asking, would you like, is the absolute best way to offer something to someone.
Another very common way we use would is to talk about imaginary situations. We often call these situations unreal or hypothetical.
That sounds like a very big grammar word, but the main idea is actually quite simple. Imagine something that is not real right now. For example, if I had $1 million, I would buy a big house.
Wow, $1 million is a lot of money. That is definitely a fun and imaginary situation. I do not have $1 million in real life, so I use would to show it is just a dream.
Here is another simple imaginary situation for our listeners. If I lived in Italy, I would eat pizza every single day. I do not live in Italy, but it is very fun to imagine it.
These kinds of sentences always have two parts. One part has the little word if, and the other part uses would. This structure helps us talk safely about all our dreams and wishes.
We also use would to talk about our old habits in the past. These are things we did a lot when we were much younger, but we do not do them anymore today.
Yes, for example, I can look back and say, when I was a small child, I would play outside every single day. This means it was a regular and happy habit in my past.
That is such a nice memory to share. I can say, when I was in university, I would study in the silent library until midnight. Those were very long and tiring nights.
That sounds very tiring indeed. So, as you can see, would is a very flexible word. We use it for polite requests, for imaginary situations, and for describing past habits.
It really is a powerful tool for your vocabulary. Just remember to use I would like instead of I want when you are speaking to people. That is probably the most important lesson for today.
Now that we have explained will, shall, and would, let us compare all three of them together. This will make the differences crystal clear for your memory. Let us imagine a situation with a loud, ringing telephone.
That is a perfect setup. The telephone in the house is ringing very loudly. If I make a quick decision right now to answer it, I use will. I say, I will answer the phone.
Yes, because you did not plan to answer it an hour ago. You decided just now when you suddenly heard the loud noise in the room.
Now, imagine I am looking at the ringing phone, and I want to offer to answer it for you. I would look at you and ask, shall I answer the phone?
You are exactly right. You are directly asking me if I want you to do it. It is a very nice, polite offer to help me out. Now, what about our third word, would?
For would, we have to change the situation a little bit to make it completely imaginary. I could look at a quiet phone and say, if the phone rang, I would answer it.
But the phone is not actually ringing in this imaginary situation. You are just talking about what you would do if the situation actually happened in real life.
That is exactly right. Do you see how the meaning changes just by changing one little word? The English language can be very fun to play with when you know the rules.
Let us do one more quick comparison before we finish. This time, let us talk about going out to eat at a restaurant. Daniel, give us a sentence with will.
Okay. Let us pretend we are walking down the busy street and we feel very hungry. I look at a bright pizza place and say, I will eat pizza for dinner tonight.
That is a quick, spontaneous decision and a promise to yourself. Now, if you want to ask me for a friendly suggestion, you use shall. You could ask, shall we eat pizza for dinner tonight?
Yes, that is correct. I am carefully including you in the evening plan and asking for your personal opinion. Now, Emma, give us an example using would for this restaurant scenario.
I will use would to make a polite request to our waiter. When the friendly waiter comes to our table, I will say, I would like a large cheese pizza, please.
That is absolutely perfect. You did not say, I want a large pizza, which can sometimes sound a bit demanding. You used the magic polite words, I would like.
These three words are a lot like different tools in a toolbox. You use a completely different tool depending on the specific job you need to do in the conversation.
That is a fantastic way to explain it, Emma. Will is the reliable tool for future decisions. Shall is for suggestions, and would is for polite requests.
We know this might feel like a lot of new information for one day, but please do not feel stressed or worried at all. Learning a foreign language is a slow journey, and you are taking great steps.
We are very proud of you for showing up and practicing with us today. You do not need to memorize everything right now. Just listen closely, relax your mind, and let the new words become familiar.
That is exactly right. The more you listen to native English, the more natural these grammar rules will feel. You will start hearing these important words everywhere you go.
We highly recommend that you practice a little bit every day. Even just 10 minutes of listening can make a massive difference in your language skills over time.
Thank you so much for joining us on Learn English Hub today. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below.
Yes, please like the video and share it with your friends. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we will see you in the next podcast.
I totally agree with that advice. Keep practicing, stay positive, and never give up on your dreams. Goodbye for now, friends.